Hello.
Hello. And welcome to Astrology and Alchemy with Paranormal Sarah and Matthew Slosier. It's December 6th. We made it. I don't know if we were thinking we wouldn't make it, but this week leading up to the full moon, guys, how are you doing? Are you feeling it? How was your week, Matt?
Well, I still have power, unlike some people in my state. So, which I'll add in case people had to move. I don't know. This as of now stands for the month. I cannot stream on my Facebook accounts. So Sunday Night Dead, Astrology and Alchemy, and my own personal one, because I got into an argument with with some of these yahoos that are supporting shooting up those power stations, and basically said that Proud Boys are nothing more than KKK 2.0, and I guess Facebook considered that hate speech. So I'm on a ban.
I have been banned for some time now for a few different reasons. One of them was that I had shared the phrase found, some of my ancestors were in Dachau. They always would mention a certain phrase about working. And I said that phrase about some of the working camps. Mm-hmm. Man, I got shut down. And then very shortly thereafter, because I post every day about my dad finding a kidney, that they spammed me for that. And then I was really angry about that. Because I was like, why would you, if of all the things to use social media for? But yeah, you were actually talking out against.
I was talking against it, but I guess the algorithm hit it and put me as supporting a.
You can't even say it.
So I appealed it. We'll see what this is the funny thing. I have, because it happens to me a fair amount. I have one, and I realize the algorithm doesn't get sarcasm, and I'm very sarcastic, and I troll on things and stuff. It doesn't get sarcasm. So up to this point, I have prevailed on every appeal. So we will see. But as of now,
we will see.
You have to go to Sarah's sites or the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
So hopefully, yeah, if you encouraged a friend to come and join us, and it's usually from the Facebook stream, whether from the Astrology and Alchemy or the Autumn Moon or even the Paranormal Sarah Facebook, all of them, they've slowly but surely being banned. But it'll be released, and then we'll come back and we'll go back and forth. But yeah, so for those of you joining us tonight, you're the special ones. You're the ones that broke through. You're the ones who clawed and thought. And we're lucky enough to hear this because we're going to talk about some pretty amazing magic. And for those of you in the chat room joining us, we've got Field Guy, Steph, Queen, Katie, Pepper, Jackie. We've got Samantha. We've got all sorts of people. And yes, I told Matt was kind to me in the beginning of the show. I said, Matt, I don't know if I can do it tonight because look at me. I've been crying all day. My face is all puffy. I don't know if I can do it. He said, you can do this, Sarah. And I appreciate that because my dad had surgery today. So I am always sharing, you guys keep an eye out for that kidney. And we got the call in the middle of the night last night of hey, Sarah, somebody died and I think they're a match. So I'm getting ready. And then I was, I think for anybody going through surgeries or transplants or things, you're hopeful, but you're not hopeful. You're worried you're going to get in there and it's not going to be a good kidney or something. And it's been 2 years of being on dialysis every night. And, my dad's pretty tired. And so he's also been pretty sick. And I was really nervous if he didn't come out of the surgery that be having sad times over here. So it was kind of a long morning and I didn't put any makeup on because I'll probably still cry later. So we manifested that kidney, guys. And so, yeah, he came out of surgery and we're wondering if he's really funny and he's flirtatious already. He's his normal self. But we're wondering if he's going to have any traits from his new organ. And
that'd be interesting.
Wouldn't that be interesting? He's really interested about it. And he's like, man, I'm really excited to if we're going to get to know anything about the family and bless a family for Christmas and continue to share that happiness. So it's been a lot of ups and downs. And for anybody who's, going through organ transplant stuff, just hang in there because, man, it's a long process, but it happens. So I'm excited that we got to do our little, ring your little bell and make your little post. So we did it. But
in solidarity with you, I decided not to wear makeup tonight either.
Yeah. And Matt's not wearing makeup either. Thank goodness. It's solidarity. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate it. So yeah. So there we are. This is us. And guys, we're going to talk about this full moon. It is a huge full moon in Gemini. It means all kinds of crazy things that's happening tomorrow. And so that's kind of what we have to look forward to. And the week leading up to it, all of these retrogrades and direct, Jupiter growing. So like a lot of ideas, a lot of luck. And if you're joining us for the first time, get that pen and paper out, because we are going to try and predict the future, or at least, what it means to us as we're going along. So tomorrow, guys, only one thing happens. It's going to be Wednesday, middle of the week. We only have a few weeks left till Christmas. It's kind of freaky, actually. But yeah, the only thing happening. Let's put it on there. I'm trying to see when we post, like what actually posts. It's so fun to see. Like it's so different. It's a full moon in Gemini. So that's the only thing happening tomorrow. Matt, when you think of the Gemini space specifically for a full moon, what things are you thinking in your mind?
Sagittarius cycle. So this is all about exploration. So this is the peak of that cycle in Gemini. So I take this as you've explored and now it's decision time, kind of those, the twins, but I always kind of view it as like the two paths. So now it's which way do I go? And Gemini energy is very extroverted. So I view this a lot of like using other friends, using other people as sounding boards. So I would expect tomorrow, I'm not going to say a lot, but you're going to see people kind of bouncing ideas off each other tomorrow. So don't be surprised if you get asked for advice, I'm thinking of doing this or this. What do you think? And that kind of stuff. It's going to be kind of deciding which path to take based on kind of where folks started exploring things at the start of this cycle. And sometimes kind of like subtle and subconscious. You don't even realize you're kind of like putting these feelers out and stuff, but it's going to be pressure to make a decision.
And new, Queen shares in the chat. She said, "Man, this is kind of that new job energy, that doing." I always think of that fire space, but then also like air fire. Like if you've got two people sitting across from a bonfire and like, okay, what are we doing? Which way? Back and forth. And Steph saying, but doesn't the moon block Mars as well? and an occultal.
Occultation.
Sorry, man. Welcome to not being able to see.
That gets worse, just so you know.
Don't tell me these things.
This is a total side. I know this is going to do, I look younger than I am. And something came up at a group lunch today. And then somebody was like, well, how old are you, Matt? And I actually told them my age. And it was,
98 years old. So. I tell people 100. I'm 100.
Now I just feel like quite the senior citizen. So I can tell you the eyes get worse.
I notice it with like TV cast. I used to watch the thing and like make fun of the names, kind of like Mystery Science Theater. And I've now noticed that it gives me a headache to try and chase the names and look at them and make funny at the same time. And I'm like, this is anyway. And like, anyway, the little things. So yeah, it does. And does Mars being in that space, blocking Mars too, does that make it worse? I'm thinking of when I'm looking at, and we're not talking like the flat plane, but when I'm looking at Mars specifically, when is the next time Mars? It's retrograde in Gemini. So blocking it.
Yeah, but
is it going to be blocking it?
Are they the week ahead, and I don't want to jump ahead. Are they conjunct at all this week? They should be conjunct at some point this week. I think that might be what she's talking about. I never heard blocked, but I'm thinking over top of each other, which would be conjunct.
I don't think so.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. We don't know until we get there, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, wait and see, Steph. I don't look ahead. So
Steph, wait until the very next day.
Okay.
Wait until the very next
day. I think what you're asking about is when they're conjunct, and that's coming, I think.
Right. So how will we use Wednesday's energy in a J? For those of you guys joining us, God, help me. For those of you joining us, you had said sounding board. I think that's a really important way of visualizing the energy, rippling, maze magic, Gemini, getting a different look. It doesn't mean a better look. It just means get two perspectives. That Robert Frost path in the woods kind of a thing before you make any major decisions. But write down what that means for you, what that means in your space, and then let's look at Thursday. Here we go. Thursday. This is a little interesting. So you have this happening as the moon is just gently waning in Gemini space, but you've got the sun in Sagittarius, so the sun in a fire sign, and its opposite Mars in Gemini, with the moon moving from Gemini or waning. How do we feel about that energy?
I feel this is a really simple one because I feel this is almost the exact same energy that we talk about with the new moon and full moon of Sagittarius and Gemini. So this is, again, that pressure between exploration. It's just the energy in the sun. It's just kind of your outward energy towards exploring something. And then Mars is actually that action. So whereas the moon in Gemini might have been more sounding board, asking if this is going to be a little more, it's still going to be verbal because Gemini's air. But since it's Mars, it's also going to be related to what should I do? So there's a little more action tied to this dynamic. And since it's still retrograde, right?
Mm-hmm.
So since it's retrograde, odds are people are going to make the wrong decision out of those two. But that's just how it goes.
What is? She chose down. She chose down.
See, and now once that seed is planted, it'll mess everybody up. Because you're like, well, should I choose the other one then? Because I'm going to choose it. Like, it doesn't matter. You're gonna more than what you.
And but what is
Vegas? The odds are stacked against you on your decision.
That's the way that I would like to say it. Because when I'm looking at the equation of moderation of like think and feel or say and do, and that things are kind of tipped very heavily to the say and do. So maybe I'll just think and feel that if the odds are tipped to do this, that whatever it is you should decide to do, you should just know that there's going to be a little bit of conflict, some physical resistance kind of maybe being the key word there. Maybe that's what I'll put down for the magic. Resistance. And that's the only thing happening for Thursday as that moon is waning in that space. So when you're kind of thinking psychically, intuitively, and statistically, how do we feel that this is going to pan out for our prediction space? What do you see?
A public debate over a path forward tomorrow. That's what I say watch the news for. Making the headlines. Some big decision.
I'm sorry you're hearing my children playing.
No, and I want to say, I always feel like, some people might be like, well, that's not very specific. Like, I can go ahead and make it but I think that dilutes like the theme I would look for. Because also we have people from all over the world, that watch this. So it can be different things and different, like look for a debate over a decision. And know that the odds are that the decision that's going to get made is going to be the wrong
one. I hate that radio silence, so I'm just kind of humming through it and thinking to myself, all the things in the news, it's different because I've, often been seeing the patterns with Saturn and Aquarius or Neptune and Pisces. I can kind of see where certain energies really seem to change, influence, and affect even social behavior patterns. But Mars, that's kind of a different one. That's kind of unique. And Gemini specifically with that push and pull, I almost wonder if it's going to be like an extension on like the Kanye, Trump thing. If it's going to be.
It could be more like a verbal thing. Because, when you really think about, at least in our country, kind of like how things are going right now, we're kind of in that like lame duck season. So there isn't a whole lot that's going on right now. So I don't think there's going to be a huge. So maybe it's more discussion over what to do versus what actually it's air versus what is actually going to get done.
Yeah. And I feel like we're just not, I feel like we should be getting two sides of the story, but we're maybe not getting we're getting the two inside stories, not the two outside stories. Like there's some kind of weird thing going on here, and that motivation being indirect about something that you're feeling conflicted with, and then having like the sun on the action rather than the sun on the intention or the mustard seed. So this is all going to play into, you got Wednesday, you got Thursday. Okay. I put down resistance. We'll see how that plays out.
If I had to give one word, I'll say debate. Will be the word.
Debate.
Debate will be the word for Thursday.
Okay. I'm going to put that in there. I also am thinking like the great Twitter things happening. There's some really amazing things happening in social media spaces, and like, we're going to see. Okay. But then 2 things happen on Friday. So that'll be Friday, December 9th. Okay. I'm looking ahead and I'm thinking, oh gosh. Okay. So these 2 things that happen on Friday, I'm interested to see how this. Okay. The first one, not too big of a deal. I kind of roll my eyes, but look at this mouthful. So the first one on Friday, we wake up, Venus in Sagittarius, squaring off with Jupiter, direct in Pisces, with the moon waning into Cancer. Oh my. That's a lot of water and fire and water.
Moon in its home sign, so just emotional intensity there. And then you got Venus in Sagittarius, which I just find this an entertaining aspect right now, because it's kind of romantic exploration, and that is kind of, even though it's square is almost like it's in your way, it's opposing you. Opportunity in that water, introspective space. So I'm almost, as I'm cashing this out, I'm almost feeling like somebody might want to explore and reach out to somebody else, and they are going to be just too kind of absorbed in other things and other opportunities that it's just not going to sync. So I'm going to word this as romantic emotions out of sync.
Man, I love that wordplay because
Fool in the Rain, Led Zeppelin. That's it. They go to meet, and they meet on the wrong street corners, and so they both feel like they got stood up. It's that kind of vibe. Just out of sync.
Okay. I really love this because of as I was writing down the neurolinguistics for that ritual suggestion, that others might feel, or that others in the equation are going to be too absorbed. And so I was thinking, ooh, I like that wordplay on absorption, because there's water here in the alchemal space. So absorption, ooh, what in your space is absorbing, or who, probably ourselves, is absorbing boundaries, absorbing. Okay, I can see the magic work to do this day. And so I put absorb, and then you said, or sink. And I thought, ooh, like sink to the bottom of the ocean, like we're absorbing the water or we're sinking in the water. So there's like maybe 2 different directions that people are going to want to go. They're going to want to absorb it in, or maybe they're going to feel like they're sinking down. But then when you said sink, you meant sink like SYNC, like to be in harmony with.
Yep.
When I heard sink, I heard to completely separate and sink to the bottom. Same word, same space even. And this alchemy of how will you use the water, the emotion, the heaviness, the intuitive empathy that's going to be coming. I think about, like, for example, in my space, Venus and Sagittarius, romance and desire for life. I love Kansas City. I'm always often thinking, should I just make an extra money and have a second career path? And that as my kids get older, we have a second house there, and we go back and forth, and I see, or should I sell everything and live in an RV and just go where I want? Like that, these romantic explorative ideas with Jupiter and Pisces, thinking, okay, delusions, exciting. Like, well, now my dad's got a kidney. Well, now he can go do this. Like, now we can do this. And now we've got clarity and humble and with the moon and Cancer, feelings waning. Oh, okay, now I feel relief. I'm not as fearful, but there are more feelings, but there's less feeling. Like some are going up and some are going down. Like this bamboozlement, clouding the judgment of what it is we would be doing because of Sagittarius fire season. When people are like, are you going to be flying out there to see? It's best I actually don't do anything right now. It's best that I let things and pieces fall as they may and control my absorption and what I'm able for boundaries to do to set up further safe spaces. I feel like that's going to be the best way to navigate this. But I would maybe be saying too much if I say, okay, one more thing happens Friday night, though. So for those of you
looking, one more thing before you add that just Jupiter makes everything bigger, and so you got Moon in Cancer, which is heavy emotion, and then you got the whole Jupiter in Pisces, which is going to expand that. So you got lots of water kind of going in a way that's going to go in conflict with this Venus in Sagittarius. So I just see this as just romantic stuff, just totally out of sync.
Well, so then it's also going to move. It's going to move Friday night after all this stuff happens, and I can feel it coming. All this, Venus moves. Oh, which way does she move? Venus moves into the cardinal sign of Capricorn on Friday night. So it's going to move out of water into earth, into grounded and stable. But what does that mean for that romantic desire that people have been feeling bamboozled about?
Going from you're going from exploration to the little goat wanting to climb up all the mountains, accomplish. So this is going to go more towards much less exploratory in this romantic space. Also, I would say there's a little more emphasis on, there's also a financial side to Venus. I would say in Cap, there's probably a little more emphasis on the financial and money. So this whole romance thing is going to be a little more tied up onto status, accomplishment. I think I said this last year when you were in this spot. Be aware you don't want to be somebody's kind of conquest, and that can be kind of this energy here of not necessarily, I'm not saying that Capricorns aren't authentic, but in this space, I'm not going to bash my own sign here, but
let's just do the whole know what,
Venus,
we already slept together, so I don't need to keep pursuing you. We did the things, and so probably not going to call you back.
Venus in this space, I'm just thinking, Capricorns are all about checking boxes, and and so you don't want to be somebody's, that little goat climbing up the hills. You don't want to be somebody's, just goal, and then it goes on. So just be aware.
Maybe people do want to be people's goals, though.
It's true. I mean, yeah, you can use that to your advantage if you want, but I'm trying to, as somebody that has no water, I'm trying to look out for the water folks there, and I don't want you getting hurt by a cold, heartless earth signs.
She's as cold as, I'm sorry. I like, and recently the kind of funny bit was, and I work with men, Monday through Friday. I say Monday through Friday, but that's just my way of saying my more professional job. I don't know if you can say that, but as a forensic counselor working with offenders, and predominantly they're men. And so when we say like that notch on the belt, that's kind of more of a masculine language, because it would be uncouth of a woman to do that. But women lately have been saying, well, if before you text that person, if a vibrator and a weighted blanket can fix it, then just stop. And that's kind of demeaning, I think, to the purpose of a male counterpart, because that's not what you're looking to provide. But is it status? Is it money? These kinds of investments, I see it as investments. And I know you're never going to be able to unhear this for Friday night, but the whole let it go, or is it going to be let it grow? If it's let it grow, you can't be digging it up every 2 seconds to be like, are there roots there? Is it growing? Do I have fruit yet? There's none of that anymore. The Venus, the romance, all that stuff. It's none of that. It's none of that now. Now it's just quiet. Now it's I'm working on it or I'm letting it go. Ooh, that's going to be hard for some people. That's going to be really hard for some people. So for those people who are like, I'm not getting all the attention I want. That's it. We're over. There's going to be a lot of that on Friday night. People are going to go, you know what? If it's over, then fine. Because I'm not going out this way.
The other thing I like about Cap, it's, these things are always like a pendulum. So you're going from that Sagittarius kind of anything goes, wild explore, Capricorns are affectionate, but they're not very emotionally demonstrative in public. So keep that in mind as well. You will get more energy and warmth kind of behind the scenes than you will in a big group, because they in general don't like to, again, because it's cold earth, they don't like to show their emotions. So you're getting this, romantic emotional energy kind of moving into a not very publicly demonstrative space. So keep that in mind too.
Demonstrative. I love that word. That's such a good word.
I think back to like high school, no public displays of affection. That's
cut it out.
A public display of affection is kind of not a thing for a cat.
Yeah. Ew. Gross. Unprofessional. Who's watching? What could someone think if they saw that? And that's that earth sign. What would someone think? And thoughts sometimes last a lot longer than those actions at times. So the Sagittarius says, who gives a fuck what people think? Who cares? Just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Capricorn says, but if I want to get that job interview this March, I can't be doing that because think about how it's going to put on. Like, ooh, this is going to be interesting. So you have to appeal to the mind. Appeal to the mind. You can do that now.
And you nailed right before you said you nailed something else really there too, is in that romantic space, how that relationship impacts their professional life. That is a big thing for Cap too. So, if it's something that for whatever reason, whatever the dynamic could hurt them career-wise, they're going to be really tentative there.
Mm-hmm. Let's just do it. Let's just leave everything behind. Might have gotten that 2 weeks ago.
It's all, we're simplifying this, where I'm just describing the energy of Venus and Capricorn. Each individual, you have all the different planets and all the different spots. So it all kind of becomes a mix. So it's not like everybody's going to act the same way on these things. But they will.
And that's what I love about astrology and looking at the sociological behavior movements, is that everyone is it's in their own way. But we're all eating ice cream at Baskin Robbins. There might be 31 flavors, absolutely, but you're still going to get the cup, then get the ice cream. You're going to try things before you get your ice cream, like not usually the other way. There's just a way in which things move, generally speaking. And so we kind of see this happening, and I think, okay, this is interesting. Now, only one thing happens on Saturday. Only one thing happens on Sunday. So these are kind of, I wouldn't say precise movements, but they're purposeful movements. They're movements that it's going to be easy to have focus on this day, Saturday. The one thing that's happening, put that dot down on your paper. Let's see what our mind says for the predictive space. Here it is. It is the moon waning, getting smaller, in Cancer still. Yep, the water sign. Sextile Uranus in Taurus. More Earth. What do you see for that movement?
Well, sextile I always view as like removing the obstacle too. So I see this as moon in Cancer. That's heavy emotion. It's in its home sign. So this is just, and Cancers are kind of security motivated, but heavy emotion can be changeable emotions. Removing obstacles to Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is the kind of rebel outside the box thinking. Taurus is the bull that's not going to want to move. So I always say this, it is like rebelling by not doing versus rebelling by doing. So this is your emotional heaviness or this emotional intensity, removing obstacles to, all right, I'm going to call this a mental health day. This is where people are going to be like, my emotions are it's just too much. I just cannot deal with it. Everything going on right now today. I just need to take a day and just chill and stay in bed. Emotions drive.
Even said that in the chat.
Emotions drive abandoning some of your responsibilities to just chill, relax, and indulge.
Chill, indulge, invest, intimate things to self. You mean selfish and narcissistic? It might appear so, but it's less like, we don't need this. Guess what? It's the holiday time. Get these jackets out. Get them to the people who need it. You know what? I'm going to go to the trivia night, win money, pass out business cards, come home in bed by 9 o'clock, do the things, be productive. I'm investing. I'm conserving. I'm killing 3 birds with 1 stone. It might be a little unconventional in that Uranus space, but this is like recycling things. Saturday is going to be an interesting day if you are someone into business and crafting. Saturday's a really good day for like fun antique finds, creative energy, catharsis. I would say catharsis, being able to get some stuff done with a unique purpose, which is going to be kind of after all this romantic weirdness and shifting of gears, it's going to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to do this now.
I think you're going to have a lot of call outs. At least it's a Saturday. So I know some people, some people are still going to be working, but other people will be off. But I feel there's going to be a lot of, our Australian folks. It'll be Sunday for them. Still weekend. So, I think you're going to have call outs and no shows, even if it is some kind of activity. If you're coaching your kids' game, one of your coaches might not show up. Maybe a couple of your players don't show up because it's just I just think it's going to be like a call out, check out day on Saturday.
No show. Yin on that teeter totter of that yin and yang. So much going in and siphoning in that conservation that just not showing up. And don't take it personally. It's going to be quite selfish. If anything, it won't be manipulative. It'll be selfish. It won't be for an outward purpose. It'll be for conservation. So I kind of am hoping that for anybody that is maybe does have get stood up on Saturday, don't take it personally. They didn't have enough energy to show up, let alone share. So it was probably better that way. But one thing is going to happen on Sunday. Let's see what we think for how it all comes together on the weekend. Man, it's just a small thing. A small thing. Well, it's not a small thing. All the Leos are going to be mad at me now. I didn't mean it like that.
It's the biggest of all the moon movements.
The biggest of all the moon movements.
There,
in a small kind of way.
For you for the Leos.
Thank you. It is that the moon will be on Sunday. The only thing happening on Sunday, by the way, so to finish this weekend out, waning into the constellation of Leo, all those prideful lions. What do you think or feel about the energy for Sunday?
Well, here's the thing. You have the prideful. That's why we made that joke. If any newbies out there, don't know about the Leo thing. But the other thing about Leo, and this is where I think the space, particularly this time of year, comes in, is Leos are very generous as well. So I'm seeing this as a gift-giving energy. You might be getting some unexpected gifts on Sunday. People might be buying you unexpected gifts. People might be inviting you. I view this as a generosity, like a extra air of generosity will hit on Sunday. I feel all these are so much nicer than last week, which I felt was actually the last 2 weeks I felt were pretty nasty stuff. And so this is nice. A
lot of transformation and growth and crazy, wild, disruptive energy, self-destruct. There's a lot of self-destructive energy. And the last few weeks kind of building up to this full moon for tomorrow. And I feel like after tomorrow, people are going to really feel a good sense of relief, some clarity. It's going to get quiet. It's going to be less dramatic. It's going to be healing. It's going to be calm. This generous, I think about for me and myself, like, for example, guys, this would be Sunday, that waning into Leo and pride. This will probably be the day that my dad, hopefully, fingers crossed, is able to be discharged. It's probably going to be Monday because usually they don't do that on a Sunday, but maybe they do. And that generosity, that being able to read the room, sharing energy. Recently, I took my children out to eat, and this old lady, she had been watching us at dinner. It was kind of weird almost, but at the end, she came up and she looked at me and my husband and said, I'm a part of an organization that makes it a point to every time we go out in public to reward good behaved children. Might I give your children a gift? It was kind of weird. And I was like, we both were like, yeah, that's sure. Yeah, you can do that. And she gave them gold coins, like $250 gold coins, which I was like, maybe you give those to mom, like lots of money. And then she walked out and we said thank you, and my kids were like, oh, thank you. But nothing like that had ever happened to me before. And it was a random weird thing. And I feel like that Jupiter direct energy, that luck, that opportunity, I would agree that on Sunday I had written for my monthly meditation, don't be afraid to express what is in your heart. The prideful heart, especially if it means showing your creative gifts to the world and giving a little extra to those you love. So hearing you say it's a generous energy, I wonder how that will pan out.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to Pepper threw something in here that's kind of a because I was going to go this way anyway, and she's like, Matt, you're a rising Leo. Don't you give gifts? I do think a Leo, like if you want to go with those like love languages, I think Leo's, gifts, and then also them giving gifts and acts of service towards them are the things that like resonate. Now, interestingly enough, I'll just quick call this out. Both my Venus and Mars happen to be in air signs. So interestingly enough, out of the love languages for me, mine is words. I like to hear nice things. I like to say nice things. That's my thing. So I Pepper, I get it, but I think at least for me, I think the air and the Venus and Mars overrides my rising Leo there, and I try to say nice things to people.
Yeah, and you do, and I think your podcast and the time that you spend educating people with the time and platform that you do is interesting. And Pepper even shared in the thing, and this is something, I don't know if people know this about you. So if you're tuning in for the first time, these are all kind of fun little disclosures about Matt. But so dad of 5, so you've got the quadruplets, and then the 5th, and that every Saturday morning you take one of your children out to breakfasts as to make sure that they each get individual time with you to just have a breakfast. Mm-hmm. How long have you been doing that?
Since they were like, they're 21 now. I've been doing it since they were like 7, with the idea that it's the offer stands as long as they want it. And I really thought they wouldn't make it out of middle school. And now we're at the point where we have people staying in different places and they meet me at the restaurant for breakfast. So it'll be cool. We'll see.
It's so neat.
Until they move far, far away, we'll keep doing it, I guess.
Yeah. And the breakfast with the kiddos, he always shares it on social media, and it's fun. I think even in an astrological, psychological space, when you have quadruplets, I mean, they have the same birthday, but they are all so different. And when you share your breakfast energies with them, it's just so wild. It's fun. But yeah, Pepper said that you're just such a good dad. It's those little details and things that people do. That's a gift. It's a gift of your time or your energy. And Monday, it's going to kind of be important what you did on Sunday, maybe what gifts you gave, what attention you gave to your own love language study. So what is your love language? Do you guys know? Important. Something.
I'd be really curious how well it syncs with kind of the air, earth, fire, water signs.
Mm-hmm. Well, Monday. Man, it's just, I feel like as I'm looking at the calendar, I'm like, it's going to be Christmas before we know it. This is Monday the 12th, where guys, you're only going to have 2 weeks. And here we are talking altruism midway through December. But here it is. And Monday is going to greet you with just one movement of astrological value. And the sun will be in Sagittarius. It's been in Sagittarius. I know, it's still there. And it's sextile Saturn and Aquarius. There it is. There's the rule change. What's happened over the weekend that the rules changed? What do you think for that?
Yeah, so this is eliminating this is change the rules. So this is exploration, allowing, so I'm going to link it and say that whatever's getting debated on Thursday is going to get implemented on Monday. And again, because that Mars was retrograde, it's going to be a bad decision. So pay attention to whatever's like on the news as to, so-and-so is deciding whether to do X or Y. That will actually like start getting put in motion on Monday.
I listen to your words because I think it's so important that hindsight, present sight, foresight, they're all different perspectives. And oftentimes when someone asks, even, you or I, Matt, how do I get more psychic? How do I become psychic like you? How do we get more psychic? I know it seems strange, the idea of awareness and consciousness, but to be able to be past, present, and future means that on the first of the month, I meditated on this and wrote my thoughts out. On the week before that day, we write our thoughts out and expand on it. And then the day of, we'll meditate on it. And then the week after, we'll have our hindsight. That alone creates 4 different perspectives from my own self to be able to look at the same energy, 4 different angles. of all the infinite angles there are, just 4. I can provide to myself, for myself, to get information. And I had written about this day, Monday, the 12th. Today, you will be reminded of what makes you stand out from the crowd, and you are special. Embrace what makes you unique and be open to being the trailblazer yourself. And then you said, whatever's been debated lately is going to be put into action. And so as we're seeing this pan out, what's it going to be? What's that?
Well, I do want to add, even when I do a specific here, remember that this isn't just like a one thing that's going to happen. This is a pattern and a nudge all over the place. So you could see this at work. You could see this at, so the overall theme I'm going to say is, it might even be for like next year, you know, in 2023, we're going to change blank and we're going to announce it today. It's rules, changing rules. I'm going to go ahead and say that just going with my gut feel here. So, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I feel that the debate on Thursday and what gets announced on Monday is going to be things coming in with the House politically here and things they're planning on doing. So there's going to be a debate of, you know, what are we going to do come in January? And that's going to get announced on Monday. But it's going to happen in other things too. It's going to be, you know, the stuff going on in Europe, maybe sanctions debates, like all this kind of stuff. Like it's not just happening in one space. So look for debate and then decisions, announcements on Monday of how we're going to change things going forward.
Man, I have my thoughts about it, but just because we started out with, I think we had 11 stations, and now we've been banned on 7 of those 11. It's funny, but it's not funny, but it is funny. Hopefully the YouTube channel, through Paranormal channel, also through Paranormal Sarah, but then also through the Odyssey radio, which you guys can download for free and check out. You know, just because we getting banned doesn't mean we're not going to keep talking and telling you the truth. And so I've got to be careful what I want to say here about this energy.
Yeah. We're running out of options here.
That we can
so guys, if you're watching and all of a sudden our show goes away for a little while, we will be back. We
will be back. We will keep clawing our way back. But I feel like some of this pattern and stuff, and you guys, what I love is I keep this in an Excel spreadsheet. And so if I've used these words before throughout the year, I kind of Control F through that document and go back. And there was certain words for like nudges. I can go back throughout the year and be like, oh, snap, what happened? Well, that's what ended up happening. And you go back and you fill it in. This is some of the stuff that I saw happening with, like, we've got some of the EU stuff with the cards. There's going to be some kind of changes going on that you're seeing happening in the New York space for like access to alcohol and different access for things in your card and like what you got going on with that. And then I also would dare say that there's, you know, the strep situation in the EU and how that's going to pan out here. Man, that stuff's gonna, I have a feeling, I see that moving with the Saturn and Aquarius throughout the last, 3 years, knowing that Saturn is an Aquarius in that moment. I feel like, wow, we're going to be seeing something comes to light. This is going to be like more information, more. Do people even care though? No, just in news from like people aren't going to care. People don't even trust the news, nor should they. Like, we don't care anymore. I think we've just been so desensitized by the whole trauma and terror and fear state that it may not even matter. But it is going to be like a regulation thing, guys. And I would pay attention to you use the word nudge. Like that was when the buildings started catching on fire in China and the lockdowns are still happening. And so people just died in the buildings. People just died there. And they said, well, there goes a building full of people. Shouldn't we let them out? Nah, they're sick. What? Yeah, that's not okay. There's just some weird things. These kinds of things I think are going to be skipping. Mark our words. Tuesday, it's going to be a full week. A full week And here we go. Oh, you're hearing my husband count. That means my children are in trouble. Sorry that it's 9:40. That's late. Okay. So what happens on Tuesday, a full week from today? This is what's going on. Here it is. Tell us about it. The moon waning in Leo, opposite Saturn and Aquarius.
All right. So we got, again, opposite is tension. It's not necessarily opposition. That's more like a square. So we have emotions in this generous, but also, Leo likes attention. So this is, I don't want to say emotionally needy. I don't mean it that way. I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. It is emotionally wanting attention from others. There's some signs and sometimes that maybe you're emotional and you want to be just left alone. I would say, Leo emotion actually wants that emotional attention from other people. They're not just leave me alone. So you have that with this tension with, again, kind of changing the rules. So maybe a little bit of energy to do something different, to draw a little bit more emotional and support and attention from others. So I actually will translate this into look for, and I don't mean this in a negative way. I think this phrase has some negative connotation to it. I don't mean it that way. Look for attention-seeking behaviors on Tuesday. And I'll be driven by that emotional support and kind of mixing up and changing things and changing the rules. So I'm going to act a little bit different. And the reason why I'm acting different is to draw attention to myself because I emotionally seek that attention.
I like that. Okay. I like that you said that, the attention-seeking behavior, because that's going to be key. Any of you guys, out there parenting or dealing with children or customer service, oh my gosh, in the holiday season, yes, 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 attention-seeking behavior. Hi, I don't mean to bother you. I just noticed over here on the display that it says 250 and then over here it says 300. Like it's attention. And it's not meant to be annoying. The moon in Leo, it's gravity. I had put, you will feel resistant to feeling fully belonged. Belonged? That's not appropriate, Sarah. The sense of belonging to your group or community or family or whatever, you're going to feel like, what the heck? I just don't fit in. I haven't been fitting in. I don't fit in. Is this the right space for me? What's going on? Is this the right gift? Is this the right price? What's going on? And that Leo, that it wants, hey, like when you found an outfit in the store and you're just like, dang, and you're like looking for someone to share. Like it's a gravity that truly desires the attention of another person to validate in a way that it gives you peace and comfort. Like trying to celebrate something and you need to share that energy. It's on a Tuesday. What does that mean? Saturn and Aquarius too. There's going to be a rule change there. What do you guys think? Tell us in the chat room. What do you think? What are your predictions for Tuesday, a week from today? You're still trying to clarify all the nightmare trauma. Yeah. He can't use his words. It's like Pictionary. It's like charades. He can't say it that will be finally banned.
Which is funny because I watch these other shows, when I'm like doing, like I watch other like spooky shows and stuff like that, and then some of these words they'll blank out. It'll be like, and then it's like a true crime thing, and they're talking about like blood all over the walls, and then they'll be like, and the victim was beep. And I'm like, what? Well, now I know. Now I know why they do it. Now I know why they bleep all these things because the algorithm flags words and they pull your crap.
I didn't realize that Rage Against the Machine was banned after 9/11 from being played on the radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Someone had sent me they sent me a whole list of all the things that were censored on public radio the day after 9/11. And one of them also is Bruce Springsteen, Die Young.
Okay.
Only the good die.
Oh, Billy Joel. Okay.
Oh, Billy Joel. Sorry. Gosh, now I just lost any 2 followers I had that were that fan. Yeah.
Well, that's because remember, I'm a senior citizen, so.
Well, it has nothing to do with that. I cannot remember names to save my soul. I swear. I'd go up to Dolly Parton and be like, "Hello, Winona Ryder." Like, who knows what's going on in my brain with names? It's like fucking bingo up there. It's like turning around on a thing. But yeah, it's just, we couldn't say fire or death or only the good die young. Like, I don't think a DJ would have played that day either, but I mean, that would have been kind of morbid.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe somebody called in. Censored it. I'm so sorry.
Maybe it was. Maybe they brought some of them back. I don't know. I don't listen to. I have my own. I don't want to say music snob, but
I want to be in charge of the team that brings things back.
The radio anymore.
Bring it back. It's time. It's the 19th. Bring it back. So anyway, that's where we're going. It's dark humor, guys, but that's it. It's life. It's death. We've got to be grateful for what we got and try not to censor what we have so that we can at least understand what the rest of it is, because beep, 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 boop. But at the very least, I don't think we said too much. I think we said just enough. That you guys will have an idea of what to expect for the week ahead. What do you think? What's your great prediction for the week ahead?
I really think there's going to be this big, I think there's going to be this big debate. That's the big thing that I'm looking for.
Who's the debate? Who's debating? Who is it?
And well, I think you're going to see multiple ones. So I think, probably like a government type thing here, but I think it's going to be I think you're going to see multiple debates. There'll be, probably people debating in Europe over Ukraine and people debating here over Twittergate and laptops and all that stuff. It's just, there'll be lots of it. And then look for announcements on Monday and realize that whatever decision was made on Monday, it's going to be not good.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And I deliberately I know that someone might say, well, I deliberately like to be general on these things because it's not just one thing that's going to happen. It's going to happen in lots of things. It could be a little thing in your town. It could be something in your school. It could be something on the world stage. Look for the pattern. And that pattern is debate heading into the weekend, decision on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And you guys, this stuff matters. It does come down to the words. It does come down to the subtleties. It does come down to the small details and how you use them. And it really does make a difference. It can make a big difference. I believe it does. And I know having you guys join us here every week, bringing your friends, and sharing, even though we get banned from time to time for being wild and crazy, your chats help, I think, too, and just the predictions. We've had some wild and crazy predictions so far this year, and just next month we're going to be able to do our predictions for the year again. That's our best show. That's one of my favorite shows, the yearly prediction show. It's just around the corner.
Just around the corner. As you say, I mean this is a total joke, but now I feel like Kanye.
Why?
Okay. The only time in my life that my Venn diagram and Kanye's Venn diagram intersected is today when we've both been banned from something.
Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I don't really get into all that stuff and things, but on occasion people will send me things and I do have to stay somewhat relevant just because I work with people. And recently when Ye or Kanye or Hey Ye or whatever his name is now, it's like Puffadiddy Papa Combs in the 90s, changing his name up. And when he looks at the camera and deadpans it and is like, Kim, Disney doesn't love you. They don't love you, Kim. Jesus loves you. Go to Jesus. I don't love you, but Jesus loves you. He's like talking to his wife in the fourth wall. Like, I don't know. I just lost it. Because that is like the throes of a divorce where, he's on some podcast and just turned blankly, undoes the weird thing he's got and peers out and is like, hey, Disney doesn't love you. Hulu doesn't love you. And how I know that is not a meme yet, I will never know because it's just brilliant. But it's given me joy. It's given me a lot of joy. Take the joy where you can. Thank you guys for your prayers for my dad. Continue those, please, because I think that your body can reject a kidney, but I don't think so. I think he's going to be in the clear. I think we're good.
Good.
So hopefully you guys will see us out traveling around doing wild and crazy things. And then at the very least, guys, next Tuesday, right, Matt? We're going to be here.
Yep.
All right. Next Tuesday, 9
Hopefully you
p.m.
can find
Central
us.
Standard Time. You'll see us. All right. Bye.
See ya. Oh, let me pull up the video here. See, I'm like totally, I'm just BSing. All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.